What's the deal, folks? You know what it is. I'm Twice, and we ain't gonna call this Twice Talk no more. Because Twice Talk in the studio, where I get to interview people, this is more about Twice topics. So we might start calling it that. Short segments, things that need to be said, need to be known, right? So shout out Token Topics. Yeah, and if you want some high-level education, you might want to follow him. Go check him out for sure. Now, this video was supposed to be shot on Wednesday. Like I said, I'll be moving around a whole lot, and we posting it now. So, the topic of the day, or on Wednesdays, is going to be wealth, right? Wealth Wednesdays. And a lot of times we aren't taught about wealth. And we need to have those discussions. We need to talk about things on how to have a lifestyle and an abundance of resources. We can make our own decisions, do what we want, feel how we want, and not really worry about anybody else's opinions. You dig? So we're gonna talk about wealth. And a lot of people ain't talking or telling you about this, but the greatest transfer of wealth in human history is right now. It's right now. There will never be a greater time to acquire assets like this. Right now would be the equivalent of the dot-com boom and the 1850s when they were building the railroads on steroids combined. That's how imperative it is to get some assets in this digital revolution. Now, I'm gonna show a little video, and when the video is going to talk about one of the assets that you have to have. If you don't have it, you're gonna get locked out, and there's grave implications on being locked into a digital financial system. I'll share a little bit about that in a minute. Yet, I'm about to go ahead and play this video. You guys really need to see this.
What if the next global empire isn't built with armies but with ledgers? You might think tokenization is just a fancy term for DeFi, but it's about far more than that. It's about power. While the old empires conquered land and resources, the new empire is being built through blockchain networks. And Stellar, as XLM, is at the center of it all. You've heard of Stellar's partnerships: IBM, MoneyGram, Circle, the UN. These aren't just deals, they're the infrastructure for a new digital order. It's a network of power that few are paying attention to. Take Africa, for instance. Stellar is quietly wiring up the continent, not through banks, but through blockchain. Aid distribution, carbon credits, microfinance, resource tracking, it's all going on-chain. And when you control the flow of money, you control the resources. But Stellar isn't just about payments, it's about assets, real estate, oil, carbon credits, even identities. Everything is being tokenized. Think about the old East India Company. They extracted spices and cotton. Today's version, data, identity, and energy. The Great Reset won't be about borders and nations. It'll be about wallets and networks. When you hear financial inclusion, think about what it really means. It's not just about bringing banking to the unbanked. It's about bringing everything on-chain. Every transaction traceable. Every identity programmable. Every asset tokenized. You're not just trading tokens. You're trading control. Stellar's goal isn't just to move your money. It's to measure, monitor, and monetize everything you do. This isn't just crypto. It's the new colonialism. But instead of ships and soldiers, it's ledgers and nodes. You don't own your tokens. The rails own you. And the new East India Company? It's already here. Call to action. Want more crypto videos? Check out my playlist. Remember, this post is brought to you by the Crypto Chrome. Like, follow, share, and repost this video if you believe that crypto is the future, and the future is now.
All right, so there's a lot being said. So for those that have no idea about digital assets, crypto, blockchain technology, I'll kind of make it simple. And I'll explain why it's important as well. So blockchain technology, I want you to imagine that you walk into a post office. with an unlimited amount of security deposit boxes. And all of the boxes are invisible. See-through, I should say. Now, what that allows is for all the transactions and everything to be seen of what people have. Now, the use case for it, yeah, I had to pick my nose. Yeah, I had a booger. So what? And I dropped it on the floor. I did. Don't tell nobody though. But the use case for blockchain moving forward is, you know how when you swipe your card, it says pending for 3 to 5 days? Blockchain technology allows that pending to be reduced to 3 to 5 seconds, and that eliminates the middleman. So what banks and institutions and governments are doing is they're moving their entire infrastructure on top of blockchain technology so that information can move much faster. Not only that, you're able to attach value to information. If you aren't familiar the way Swift works, Swift is a messaging standard that tells people that they can give people certain value. So it's just a messaging standard and it doesn't have value. That's what Nostro Vostro accounts are for. Now, so Nostro Vostro accounts, which are just bank accounts that have a tremendous amount of money of other people's currency, and once that currency is asked for, and after the transaction between Swift, then what ends up happening is that you're allowed to go get that money, or whoever requested it, should say, right? Now, the problem with that is that there are trillions of dollars that are parked around the world because they're just waiting on to be used. If you go ahead and move that transaction time from 3 to 5 seconds, that opens up the Nostro Vostro accounts that makes them that they're ill and void. Now we have so much more money flowing in the currency. And what that does is that allows more money to be spent. I know I said a lot. Hopefully you caught that. Now, the asset that is governments and institutions are using are called ISO 20022 assets. In particular, the one that you just seen was XLM Stellar Lumen. Stellar is, like you've seen, partnered with IBM. Go check it out. IBM does somewhere around like 89% of the transactions in the world. The United Nations recently revealed their partnership with Stellar. We're talking MoneyGram, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of banks, countries. Africa is building their financial network on top of Stellar. So what's about to happen is that all of the money, all of the information, the internet is going to move onto Stellar. If you do not own Stellar, you will fail as an adult. And your kids are gonna look at you and be like, you had the opportunity to get this and you did not. They're gonna say why, and you probably will be like, I was learning TikTok dances, or I was chasing cat, or I wanted to do something that really wasn't important, right? The most important thing in the world right now is our financial literacy and owning these digital assets. There is nothing more important. Now, I would suggest you to do some deep digging. You still have some time to get Stellar. At the present moment, it is 28 cents, maybe 29 cents. Yeah, my research tells me that it's going to be a very high figure. You will not be able to get one. You see how Bitcoin's 100 grand right now? My opinion, Stellar is going to be worth more than Bitcoin, more than $100,000 a coin. Mark my words. Mark my words. Mark my words. I'm telling you. So this is what I want you guys to do. Do some research. When it comes to wealth, we need to be able to have assets. This is the first time in the history of a monetary system where the retail investor has been able to invest before the institutions. So I highly recommend you take advantage of it. Stellar XLM is going to be the most valuable asset. There are a ton of assets built on top of Stellar too. So if you find assets that are built on top of Stellar, you should definitely look into them. I'll give you one, Stronghold. Stronghold is a great asset to build on top of Stellar. Velo, BlackRock has a high regard on Velo, has built a lot of stuff on there. But do your research. Don't just take my word for it. I've been doing a lot of research on it, and I'm sharing this with you. I'm telling you this. Do your family a favor. Do yourself a favor. Go ahead and get some XLM. I'll probably end up doing something else on Wealth Wednesdays, even though I know today is Friday. Yeah. We have to make our families and ourselves wealthy so we can help people. Because once we have that wealth, we'll be able to do the right things with it. Now, when you have said money, make sure you have a plan. We can talk about that for another day. And but I will end with this quote right here by Mark Cuban. It said, figure out where the world is going and understand how to get there first. The world is going digital, so we need to be there. And if you're not there, you'll never have a chance to do anything of relevance in your life. And you'll probably always be exactly who you are. Hey, this was Twice Topics. Stay gold. Stay gold. Stay gold.